Hello there, Bick Benedict here. We're playing God of War 1 on God difficulty, and this is my guide and walkthrough. We're currently on part 14, the sewers of Athens. So for the first fight over here, what you want to do is prioritize the undead archers. Just jump up here, throw them at each other, and remember that their spawn occurs twice, so there's going to be another spawn of them. It's something that happens in, I think, almost every part except one little area. Now, I have upgraded the blades to level 4, and you might notice that I'm doing a couple of new moves. The move that we have now is the L1 plus triangle in the air and on the ground. I don't really care for it because it's slow and it leaves you quite vulnerable. There is another move that we bought too, which is evade plus X, and the final move that we have is R1 times 3, and he does a move very similar to the R1 riposte. That, I like it. It's a good move, is it not? It's pretty good. We have a couple of ways to let's consider this now, because the launch is broken. We already know it started out broken in this game, and it was never fixed. So that's an issue. So since the launch is broken, we have good ways to deal with the situation. We can do L1 plus X, or we can do the evade into the X, and those are pretty good. And then you can also do square triangle to bounce enemies, and then you can just jump up to them and normally. So what I'm trying to do over here is I'm trying to use the properties of collision to damage the Minotaur hammer grunts over here. So if you aren't aware of it, God of War features a lot of collision in games, where when you essentially throwing enemies into enemies. That's about as simply as I can put it, and nowhere is it more realized than in the second game, but that doesn't mean that this game doesn't have it. I mean, look at that. That is pure, unadulterated, hands down, just fucking fun what we did right over there. Launching these guys and just throwing them over and over again. Like, it's the stupidest thing I've ever seen, and yet it's so cool at the same time. And I'm not saying stupid in a bad way, but it's just so goddamn silly. But it puts a smile on my face. Hardly anything in this life puts a smile on my face. I just love this game, you know? I just can't tell you how much I love this fucking game. I love God of War. But anyway, let's talk about ripostes real quick, because traditionally when you do a riposte, oh, this fight's pretty tough over here, by the way. Traditionally when you do a riposte, and I will also get back to you on the names of the moves that we have too, I just didn't write them down. So as I say, traditionally when you do a riposte, you are you have no active hitbox, so you can't be hurt. Well, that's not the case with this parry and riposte system, because what ends up happening is that once you parry an enemy's attack, and then other enemies are coming at you and hitting at the same time, your riposte is going to get canceled, and you're going to take damage. So you've got to look at it a certain way and appreciate that. In this game, they have the parry and riposte system set up much differently than all of the other games, because this game was the forerunner, and it really started you know, the whole idea of parrying and riposting in this world of God of War. So how do you abstain from taking damage? And say you riposte, and then say you do a triangle riposte right after a parry. Well, you know what the triangle riposte is. He does an overhead slam with the two blades, kind of like what I did just now. Oh, by the way, if you stand over here, the ogres have a really hard the cyclopses have a really hard time of pathfinding to you. So take that into advantage if you can. But so when you do a riposte with say triangle, if other enemies are attacking you, you have to cancel out of the first riposte and then block. And usually what happens is you have just a very small but accessible window in which you can do a parry and riposte to the enemy that was not your first target, but was the one that came after you when you were vulnerable. You know, the one that was coming after you when you're hitting the main guy you were focusing on. So it doesn't always work like that though, because your timing can be off on it. But I am telling you that, oh, this ladder is horrible. And also, if you head over there to the right over here, they checkpoint it for you, so you can get a checkpoint on this fight, and it makes it a lot easier. I didn't even know. Yeah, I did not even know, but I'm really glad that we have that checkpoint, because this fight is quite hard, and I thought prior to doing this fight that I might have to concede that I might have to take damage. Now the problem over here is that there are archers that spawn twice over. The archers are probably going to be the enemies that I take care of last. You're safe from the archers over here, and I think if you wanted to, you don't even have to do this fight. So if you're not interested in it, you can just jump up there and leave the fight, I think. But the problem is when you're up here, you've got hardly any visibility of enemies that are off the screen. So if you recall, when we went into this battle, there was how I work this fight at the beginning is I take care of both of the Cyclopses, and then once you take care of both of them, then you have a pair. Then the archers spawn and the Minotaur spawn too. So after you've killed the Cyclopses, you wanna go after the first pair of archers, because they're easy to get to, and they only have a spawn. They only spawn the initial time, and they don't respawn. When we take care of these archers that we're kind of hiding from here, you'll see that they duplicate, and that's something that happens a lot in God of War, quite honestly. Okay, the detection on this ladder is horrible too. What I'm trying to do is jump on it as high as I can, so I don't have to go slow going up the ladder and getting damaged. But this game doesn't feature pressing up and jump to go faster. And be careful too, these guys can get quick swipes on you as well. Also, these are detonating arrows, so you want to make sure that you leave some space so that when they do detonate, you won't take any damage. You can block them without repercussions, but just remember that after you block it, it could be stuck in the geometry somewhere. I don't know if your blades, when you hold them up in front of you, if that cancels the whole detonation process off. I'm just not sure. But it looks like we only have just the one guy over here. Do we, or is it two? I believe I told you that these guys have a move, that accident right there. And I have to say, the Cyclone of Chaos hasn't been giving me that much of a problem. You know the big problem about the combat system, especially in God of War 2 and 3? It's the Athena's Wrath. It ruins so much. It just completely ruins the game. And what I'm talking about is dodging away and then starting the triangle combo, and then getting the... And before you can do the triangle combo, he does a ground flame punch, and it just wastes time, and it's horrible. So yeah, just absolutely, categorically, just dog shit. But it looks like we're out of the sewers now. We're gonna head back up here to a familiar place, and then we are going to go. We're going to head to the Desert of Lost Souls, an area that I detest very much. Alright, so there's the lever. Just go ahead and pull it. We're actually going to be heading back into the town area up here. Right over here. There are some plants to smash as well. The road to Athens. So just remember that you want to smash these if you're interested in doing that. I honestly don't do it because I'm desperate for orbs or anything like that. I just do it to do it. Smashing things in this game is really fun, and I I always compare it to Dark Souls because in those games you just smash things and nothing happens. You never get anything. I don't understand that. I understand this game though. Take care.